Hi, I'm Dr. Scott Taransky with the National Center for Biblical Parenting, and I interact regularly in Thriving Kids Connection in this online group we have about challenges that parents are facing. And one of the ones that we're interacting with and dealing with right now is about disciplining in public. When you've got a child who's being disrespectful in public, or a child who you're at the grocery store is creating a problem, then how are you going to address or deal with that particular challenge that a child's experiencing? And so I want to spend a little bit of time talking about that with you and giving you some thoughts about how you can best address public discipline issues. And the real key, if we're going to use a heart-based approach, and that's our whole approach, is using a heart-based approach to reach children and bring about change in their lives. If we're going to do that, then what we need to do is we need to understand what's going on deeper inside. A child who's out in public either displaying emotion through disrespect, or complaining or whining or badgering you because they want something at the grocery store, has an internal issue. It's a problem. And the best way to deal with public issues is to deal with them in practice at home. So if you want to have a red flag that goes up and says, my child has a hard time handling the grocery store, for example. They can't accept no as an answer, or can't follow instructions. And if that's the case, we want to do a lot more practice at home. And so what does that look like? Well, if a child's having a hard time accepting no as an answer, maybe we need to practice at home saying no more often. Maybe we need to practice using a wait that says, okay, you've asked for a snack. Well, we're going to wait a few minutes. Come back and see me in a few minutes. So children are learning how to deal with that more effectively. If we can help them develop new patterns, then they'll be able to address those patterns when they get into the grocery store. So when a child is out in public and they want something and they engage in inappropriate activity or inappropriate responses to try to get those things, then that's an indication of a significant issue and a problem. So the first thing you want to do is identify this. Usually it has to do with something to do with either desires in the heart or emotions that are in the heart. The Bible says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." So we know desires exist inside the heart of a person. And we also know that emotions exist inside of the person. God says, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart." And other verses that talk about emotions. Desires and emotions comprise about 90% of the problems children have on a heart level. They don't know how to handle their emotions well, and they don't know how to deal with their desires well, and so they engage in then self-focused or manipulative kinds of activities that are inappropriate. In order to help them, then you want to identify what happened in public. What was it that took place there that my child couldn't receive no as an answer, or couldn't follow instructions and do what I told her to do, or couldn't separate from the pool activity in order to go and do what I told her to do. We're going to leave. All of those things are indications of heart issues. And we can help children make some changes. But the real issues are going to take place in practice, are going to take place at home. So what we want to do is set up scenarios at home that are going to emulate what we just saw at the grocery store, just saw at the pool, or just saw at the park, or at the neighbor's house. What did we just see? Was it desires that got that were out of control in this child? If so, we want to practice some things at home. I would suggest that practicing following instructions is a great way to do that, because children have to give up their agenda, go do a task, and report back. That's a great way to help them get into the habit of responding well. What we're talking about here are relational routines. Relational routines are significant. When a child has a problem, we need a relational routine between a parent and child that's going to work. How are we going to help that child make some changes? Children need to learn how to respond well to parents. They need to learn how to be corrected. They need to learn how to accept no as an answer. They need to learn how to deal with their attitude issues. All of those things are going to happen when parents are interacting with children and know how to do that. So start with these relational routines, practice them at home. Then take your child to the park, practice at the park. Take them to church, practice at church. So you're practicing relational routines in challenging situations where there are desires and where there are emotional challenges and we are in public. That's a different arena than at home. Good practice at home will lead to more strength when we find ourselves in these places where children have greater temptation to act out or have a temptation to be socially inappropriate or get what they want in ways that are not healthy. So practice at home, practice, and that'll help a lot. I've written an article about this, and I think it might be helpful for you. It's in, you can find it at our blog, which is either biblicalparenting.info or thrivingkidsconnection.com. Find the blog there, see the articles. I've written a number of articles, and so we've had guest bloggers. Joanne Miller's written articles there. These are articles that deal with the heart of a child. How do we help children change on a heart level? We want to give you biblical and practical advice. I'm Scott Turansky with the National Center for Biblical Parenting. Visit us at thrivingkidsconnection.com.